Let's get to the details now. Vehicles carried away, homes and hospitals battered. Tamale, the northern region capital, is underwater this afternoon. Many of its residents are trapped in various locations across the city, and there's no help from anyone, not even NADMO. Those who can are now swimming through the floodwaters to save their properties. People are helping themselves to avoid death. Let's go live there now, where we have two correspondents stationed in different parts of the city. Let's start with Hashmin Mohammed. Hello, Hashmin. Hashmin, what can you report from your location?
Well, I am currently at Gumani, a community in the Sandarugu district of the northern region. And here, the northern regional minister is leading a team of NADMO officials to assess the situation. And that particular community is the West East area as far as this morning's torrential rain is concerned. And in this particular community, a woman believed, a middle-aged woman believed to be about 35 years, was carried away by the flood water. And NADMO officials are saying that they are making efforts to try and retrieve the displaced person. But that has been very, very difficult for the rescuers, who have been working throughout for several hours to be able to locate the whereabouts of the vehicle and then the said woman.
Okay,
He is believed to have gone to a school to pick his children from the school. When on her way back home, the flood water carried her away.
Okay, so are you referring to the vehicle that that we're seeing in the videos right now? Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly.
Okay, so this is the vehicle that's supposed to be carrying a middle-aged woman.
Exactly.
What happened to her children?
Well, we don't know for now because NADMO officials are still searching for the vehicle and then the said woman, and they have been searching everywhere. The military and then the police are also joining in the search process.
Thank you very much, Hashmin, for that updates there. We'll be coming to you for some more if the need arises. But let's go over to Martina Bugri, also a correspondent in the same region, but at a different location. Martina, you're reporting that some people are trapped in their homes. Tell us about that.
Exactly so, Gifty. Around the Four Saha community, the waters have merged the area, and then we have reaching the window level of most homes. And some people are swimming. That is those who can swim. Those who cannot swim are trapped in their homes. And so community members themselves have begun some rescue mission. They are mobilizing themselves and then going into the water and then dragging those they can to safer ground. Eventually, the community is cut off from the rest of the town because the water is taking over the street. You are not unable to tell the difference between the road and then the other side of the shoulders of the road. And so people have stopped moving in and out of the community. This morning, the rains they even affected the Tamale Teaching Hospital. The Garnic ward, parts of it, it's not a regular theater though, but parts of those places were all flooded, and the nurses themselves and orderlies had to clean up the place to ensure that they are able to continue work. And so the wake has left in its, the flood has left in its wake total chaos in most communities like Doana, Yile, Jakara, Yile, Kuota, Sawaba, and many other communities in the metropolis.
A lot of people won't be surprised to learn that NADMO hasn't been at the scene to help, because NADMO itself has been seeking help for some time now. But what are authorities there saying about the situation, and what can they do? What are they doing at this point? I
called to speak to the NADMO boss, and I was told he was in an emergency meeting. And so until the meeting is over, I will not be able to have anything to hold on for now.
Let's talk about schools. We understand that there are some schools that were also flooded, and so the children had to go home. How widespread was it?
Eventually, the whole city was flooded. The whole city got flooded, every part of the city. So people had to, those who saw the rain start early went for the awards, but those who did not go early, the awards had to be detained in the schools to allow the water speed before they can go for them. Around Taha like this, some children had closed from school, they were coming. The way the water was moving, community members feared they could keep them away, and so they had to send those children back to their school. And so basically, community members are helping to ensure that we don't record any casualties.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Martina, thank you very much for that update. Well, let's go on the telephone line once again to speak to Member of Parliament for the area, Al-Hassan Suhini. Sir, thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse. So it looks like your constituency has come to a standstill. What's the plan?
Thank you very much, Gifty. First of all, let me use this opportunity to extend my heartfelt sympathies to all homes and families that are affected by this flood. It is unprecedented, even though some of the communities are voted for these floods almost every year. This level is that making experience, I'm sure, in a very long time. And so my heartfelt sympathy to all those homes and families that are affected by them. I think that it's a wake-up call for us as leaders of the community to bind together so that we can provide the necessary solutions to some of these problems. I mean, there are a number of projects that which was initiated by the previous government. It is my hope that this current government will see through its implementation so that the contractor is supported to finish that project, which will, cater for some of the drains in the Kumani area and for the Kample community. We also have one that was initiated on the Taha Road, and I know the contractor currently is on site. I hope that together with the new government, we will be doing all that we can to support the contractor to execute the project to bring relief to the communities of Fo and Taha and the other communities that are nearby and affected by. I also hope that the Kumani train that has been on the board for a very long time, I think that it is a challenge to those of us now. To work in hand with the government that is in power to complete this Kumani major drain project, which will also be a big relief to the people of the area. So once again, my sympathy to the affected families.
It sounds pretty much like that's a long-term solution. We're talking about drainage systems here or a drainage project. Of course, we don't know how far it has come. Do you know?
Yes, that's why I'm saying that some of these projects are already underway. And I pledge to continue to engage the government that is in place now to ensure that more support is given to the people on site. But as for those who are affected now, this morning, in fact, when the rain started, wreaking havoc, I was in touch with the NATMO coordinators in the various communities. And I am assured that the NATMO coordinators are on the ground. The fire service also I contacted. I am assured that they are also on the ground trying to save life and property. The NATMO officials are also on the ground doing the assessment of the communities that are affected. And I'm sure that together we can see the kind of immediate relief we can give to some families and homes that may not be able to, contain the havoc that has been wreaked by this flood.
Does it then mean that as we speak, there hasn't really been any plan?
Well, I'm sure that apart from the fact that some of these communities get flooded every year, one couldn't have, anticipated the level of damage that this flood is going to cause. But as we all do know, we have the NATMO, which has always been stocked with, if you like, the first aid material to respond to some of these emergencies when they happen. And I hope that the NATMO is in place to provide some support. But as we speak, I am also engaging with some opinion leaders to see if there need be to move some people where they can be put for the meantime. I'm also very sure that the district assembly is on the ground I am currently in Parliament. I have to step out of the chamber to speak to you. And next available time, I hope to also be on the ground to assess the situation for myself.
Quick one. Two things I want to bring to your attention. First of all, it's interesting that you mentioned that you hope, because the NADMO itself has been asking for help from Ghanaians for some time now. So that's an issue that needs to be settled. Secondly, we spoke to two of our correspondents in your area. One of them tells us that there was nobody, no representative from NADMO on the ground a few minutes ago that we spoke to her. What is happening rather is that the community members are devising their own rescue plans to help some of those who have been trapped in their homes. So just so we bring this to your attention, I don't know how effectively this problem could be solved in the immediate term.
Well, the immediate solutions, I hope that the NADMO people, as I have been informed, are actually on the ground. I hope so, because I'm not there to tell. Your reporters are there. I'm not challenging their report. But I did speak with one of their coordinators. He's called Lukman. At the time that I spoke with him, they were around the Taha area with the assemblyman of the full community. And they were going around doing the assessment at the time that I spoke with them. They sent me some pictures and videos as well. I've also received some pictures and videos from some of the NADMO members from the Garba Lodge area towards the Nobisco area. And indeed, I have received calls from my constituents in the Tunaili area and the Nyanshago area, where I'm told that the fire service and other, relief agencies are on the ground supporting the community, of course, to see what they can do in the meantime.
Let's not take too much of your legislative time so you could go back to the floor of Parliament, to the chamber. But just so you know, we also have the assemblyman for the full electoral area, Mohammed Alidu, also on the line to respond to some of these issues. Sir, thank you very much for your time here on the show. What is happening where you are right now?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your time. What is happening where you are right now?
Well, earlier in the day when the rain came, we had serious flooding, and then a lot of properties are lost. The gadgets in homes got submerged in the water. And currently, as I am speaking, there's a motorbike rider who was trying to cross a river from Taha to Fuo, and then the water happened to push him inside the water. He was carrying him away. He left the motorbike, and then he was able to cross over. But the motorbike were not able to trace it yet.
Okay.
People are trying to locate the water, to locate the motor inside the water, but then they are not able to get it yet.
Well, they should protect themselves whilst they're at it. But we understand that NADMO officials have not been present.
They came. NADMO came here.
Okay.
NADMO came here, but then they said for the situation now they can assess until the water goes. That is when they would be able to go into the homes to assess, to see the lost people have incurred.
So NADMO came around but could not do much.
They couldn't do much. At the time it happened, when the water was too much on the grounds, they weren't there. But they just came. They just came and saw that people have already been rescued, because the water trapped people in their homes. But then we were able to organize people to go in, those who can swim, to go in and rescue those people. So before NADMO could come to the field, the site, the people were rescued.
Okay. Well, it sounds good. I just spoke to your member of parliament who speaks about the long-term solution as well, as being a drainage project that was ongoing. That was ongoing in the previous administration, and he's hoping that it will be carried forward from now. But what is the plan? What is the plan now that your people, apart from your people helping those who can swim, helping those who can't, what really is the plan to solve this problem? immediately?
Let me get you right.
What is the plan to solve this problem immediately?
That's where I am.
Okay, try and see if you can try and hear me out. What is the plan immediately to help people who have been victims of this storm?
Or the victims?
Yes.
Well, I called my engineer at the Sanebo District Assembly, then also called my DCE, but unfortunately she was not able to pick. I also had an information that the information got to our MP, as you have just said.
All right.
Well, I would have to hear from them before I could talk much.
But what is your plan as assemblyman for the area? What is your plan? How do you think you can solve this problem?
Hello?
How do you think you can solve this problem? What is your own plan?
Well,
okay.
They would have to assess the situation.
All right. Okay, well, we're unable to hear you properly. Sincere apologies for that, viewers. We'll try. Well, you've actually heard him and the answer. He says that they will have to, his superiors, so to speak, will have to come and assess the situation so they could put together a plan. As we speak now, he, of course, doesn't really have any plan on how to save the situation. But these are pictures coming to you from Tamale. That vehicle you see in the video there, we understand is carrying, perhaps was carrying a middle-aged woman. We're not sure where her children are, but she had gone to pick them up from school. So we'll bring you some more on that story as it unfolds. You're still watching The Pulse. Let's move on away from that very sad incident. When Ghana discovered crude oil more than a decade ago, there was fanfare. Many were those who rejoiced over the prospect of securing jobs in the industry and, in effect, improving the economic well-being of many Ghanaians. In fact, studies were conducted in parts of the world to bring home the experiences of countries already producing crude oil. The objective was to ensure that our oil does not become a curse, but rather a blessing. And that prospect was sadly faded, and now not many are counting on the industry to alleviate their plight any longer. Well, it's always better late than never, isn't it? President John Agyekum Kufuor, whose presidency discovered the oil, has begun a project to ensure that Ghanaians benefit from the resource. He's invited a group of energy experts to help revive that dream. We'll hear from Mr. Kufuor shortly, but let's hear from Mireli Toli Kima, who's a global energy advisor at MT Energy Consultants, for a project to ensure that locals are employed in the oil and gas industry.
And I really want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency, Dr. Kufuor, to really give me the opportunity to be here in Ghana and have the opportunity to meet the oil and gas community and some of the dignitaries here to look at what are the opportunities in the sector, and especially looking at the local content aspect, which is a very important aspect for developing country, especially oil-rich developing country, for the diversification of their economy and also the industrialization. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the welcome. It's my first time in Ghana, and I really enjoy the way I'm being received and having the opportunity to really get to know the Ghanaian people and see how I can contribute my knowledge and my experience to help the country to move forward, especially in my area of expertise. And I really look forward to get to meet more people, to really collaborate with the different stakeholders and parties, and really bring something positive to Ghana as well, because that's the most important thing here.
All right, so that is a leader of the team of IT experts. Now, former President Kufuor, who received the delegation, said the experts should make their expertise available to Ghanaian institutions to help strengthen regulations governing local content in Ghana.
Within the past decade, we eventually found them, and but at great costs. And people within the past decade, we eventually found them, and but at great costs. And people generally are now craving to find out whether the find would be impactful on our lives economically. Because as you just said, with them, with oil and gas, when efficiently used and used with care for the people, you empower, you enable the economy to take off effectively, to do the social interventions as well as also to grow the wealth. Without wealth, there's hardly anything you can do these days. But the refreshing thing is to meet a young lady like you, an engineer, petroleum engineer. When I met you first, I couldn't believe that you would be so qualified. But you've been in this industry for over 20 years already. More than 20 years. And you've been working on practically all the continents. So when I saw the book, that a copy of which you've given me, titled Local Content Key Enabler for Oil and Gas Projects in Emerging Markets, we are included. Most of the continent of Africa should be described as emerging markets. When I looked at the title, I thought you would be the person to visit us here and to let us get insights into how to use the finds to empower our people, so that we wouldn't sit on this God-given gift to us for other people to come from other continents to shove us aside and take the wealth away with them, like they've done. If you are talking of gold, for instance, our country used to be called Gold Coast, and yet when you look around the country, you wouldn't believe that this is a country whose entire geology is gold. Why? Because there's been a lack of knowledge and also lack of policy to increase the local content. So this book, I'm going to try to study in detail. But perhaps even better still, we should get to hear more and more often, to interact with the people in the sector, to see how we can encourage our government to enhance the local content. Generally, when people talk of local content, they are thinking of employment. We should think higher than that. We should think of equity holding. We should think of real partnerships, with us standing side by side with the people who would come with the know-how, the capital, and even the markets. Because the oil and gas have been put here by the Creator for us. So we should share in the find. And we need to know what it is and how for us to empower ourselves, so we go into a win-win relationship with the partners who will come from outside of Africa. And so I want to welcome you and to say that whilst you are here, and I'm happy you are moving around with people like Mr. Boafo, who used to be a minister, he's a lawyer, and others. So you'd meet people who would enable us formulate policies to empower our people generally and to enrich the economy.
Former President Kufuor, there you're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Opia. Taking a very quick break. I'll be right back.